On an icy shore at the edge of the Great Southern Sea, there lived a colony of penguins who spent their days diving, fishing, and gliding through the water like little torpedoes. Among them was a young penguin named Pip, who had one small problem. He was terrified of the water. Every single day, the other young penguins would waddle down to the shoreline and dive in without a second thought, splashing and diving for fish, chasing each other through the waves. But whenever Pip got close to the water's edge, his flippers would freeze up, his heart would pound, and he would waddle right back up the icy slope. "What's wrong with you, Pip?" laughed a penguin named Kesak. "Swimming is the easiest thing in the world. Even the baby seals figured it out faster than you." "Maybe you're just not meant to be a real penguin," teased another named Atu. "A penguin who's afraid of water? Have you ever heard anything so silly?"
Pip's chest tightened every time he heard these words, and worst of all, a small voice inside his own head began repeating them back to him. Maybe they're right. Maybe I really can't do this. Pip's mother, a wise old penguin named Sella, noticed her son sitting alone on the ice one evening, watching the other penguins swim far out into the water. "You want to swim, don't you?" she asked gently, settling down beside him. "I do," Pip admitted, his voice small. "But every time I get close to the water, I just freeze, and everyone says I'm hopeless at it." Sella was quiet for a moment, watching the waves roll in and out. "Do you know why penguins are such good swimmers, Pip?" she finally asked. Pip shook his head. "It's not because we're born already knowing how," Sella said. "Every single penguin you see out there today once stood exactly where you're standing, afraid of that same water. The difference isn't that they weren't scared. The difference is what they did with that fear." "What do you mean?" Pip asked. "When Kesak was your age, he was so afraid of diving off the tall ice ledge that he cried for 3 days straight before he finally tried it," Sella said. "And Atu nearly gave up on swimming altogether after a wave knocked him over on his very first attempt. Neither of them will tell you that today because it's much more fun to pretend they were always fearless. But fear was never the real obstacle for them. What almost stopped them was believing that being afraid meant they couldn't do it." Pip looked out at the water, thinking hard about this. "So what should I do?" "You don't have to dive into the deep water tomorrow," Sella said. "You just have to do one small, brave thing today. That's how every good swimmer in this colony really began, whether they remember it or not." The next morning, instead of avoiding the water entirely, Pip waddled down to the shoreline and simply let the smallest, gentlest wave touch the tips of his flippers before hopping backward. His heart still raced, but he had done it. One small, brave thing. Kesak, watching from nearby, snorted. "That's it. That's your big swimming lesson? A splash on your toes?" Pip felt his cheeks grow hot with embarrassment, but he remembered his mother's words. Fear was never the real obstacle. He took a slow breath and said, "It's a start. I'll do a little more tomorrow." And he did. The next day, Pip let the water reach up to his ankles, standing still as the gentle waves rolled past him, forcing his frozen flippers to relax bit by bit. The day after that, he waddled in up to his belly, feeling the cold water lap against his feathers, staying a little longer each time despite his pounding heart. Some days were harder than others. One afternoon, a slightly bigger wave knocked Pip clean off his feet, tumbling him back onto the icy shore, and the old fear came rushing back stronger than ever. He sat on the ice for a long while afterward, seriously considering never going near the water again. But that evening, Sella found him staring out at the sea once more. "That wave really scared you today," she said softly, sitting beside him. "It did," Pip admitted. "I don't know if I can keep doing this." "You don't have to know that," Sella said. "You only have to decide what you'll do tomorrow morning, not forever, just tomorrow." And he did. Slowly, over many weeks, Pip's small brave moments began adding up into something bigger. He learned to float. He learned to paddle his flippers just enough to move forward. He learned that when a wave knocked him down, the water would always let him back up again if he simply kept his flippers moving. One crisp morning, months after he first let a small wave touch his flippers, Pip found himself further out in the water than he had ever gone before. Farther even than Kesak or Atu had swum that day. Without quite realizing how it had happened, he dove beneath a wave, twisted his body the way he'd watched the older penguins do 100 times, and came up gliding smoothly through the water, faster and more graceful than he ever imagined possible. The other penguins on the shore stopped and stared. Kesak's beak actually dropped open in surprise when Pip finally waddled back up onto the ice. Dripping and grinning, Atu approached him, looking almost sheepish. "I didn't think you'd actually keep at it," he admitted. "I'm sorry for teasing you before." Pip shook the water from his feathers. "I was scared almost the whole time," he said honestly. "I still get a little scared sometimes even now, but my mom taught me something. Being scared was never actually the problem. The only real problem would have been letting that fear convince me to stop trying." From that day on, whenever a young penguin in the colony felt too afraid, me to stop trying. From that day on, whenever a young penguin in the colony felt too afraid to try something new, whether it was diving off the tall ice ledge or swimming out past the safe shallow waters, the older penguins would tell them Pip's story and remind them of the same simple lesson Sela had once taught her son. The water doesn't care how scared you feel. It only asks whether you're willing to keep moving your flippers, one small brave moment at a time. The moral of the story: a strong mindset isn't the absence of fear. Even the bravest and most skilled among us started out afraid. What matters most is refusing to let fear make the final decision for you. Small brave steps, taken again and again, even after setbacks, are how real courage and real skill are actually built.